to Georgia State. To Georgia State.
Sitting here again talking about the same things.
Another week of college football has passed us by, and as you know, with the sports world, not just for college football, the only constant is chaos and a grand load of FBS. Now, Red, why don't you do us a favor and tell us what that stands for? You can tell he got a new toy.
Fucking bullshit! You're goddamn right I got a new toy. Got this one right in time for Christmas, and I sound actually like a real person now and not some digital demon motherfucker that I've been sounding like ever since we started this show. And quite frankly, ever since I started doing live streams on the channel. So, yeah, FBS stands for fucking bullshit or education and physics, as Alutron just said in the chat. So it's it can go either way, honestly. Squid? Uh-oh. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I had to grab my drink.
Hang on. Pause.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a soda? Whatever happened to the milkshake fund?
The milkshake fund canceled itself when I realized that it was 20 degrees outside. Did not feel like leaving to go get a milkshake.
It got cold as shit. Like
out of nowhere.
Genuinely got cold as shit. It was like 68 degrees, I think, where I lived yesterday, and the bottom just fell out overnight. I go outside this morning to pick up the trash cans for my street, and I damn near froze my fingers off walking back into the house.
Yeah, hilariously enough, though, it was like 60 degrees during actual Christmas Day.
Yeah, what the hell is up with that? It was blowing snow. In my head, I'm thinking, God damn it, if we had just added one more week into the month, and if Jesus had just been born 1 week later instead of being in such a rush to come out, we would have been able to celebrate Christmas proper.
Mm-hmm.
At least, you know.
For us college football fans, Christmas Day was actually everything that happened on Saturday, December 27th. Because, boy, what a college football Saturday we had. It was the final college football Saturday, specifically because of all the games that were during the slate that we had. But we had some good ones. We're going to go over those, go over all the news, the latest news out of the transfer portal. And there is some more stuff that came out. And, of course, I guess we'll start out with this grand news. So last week, we have and this is the part Red's going to hate. We spent all of last week kind of clowning and squatting all over Michigan fans because we thought you were most certainly going to be stuck with the Burger King. But from the ether of bullshit, they have been what I would call bailed the hell out of their own incompetence, because that's exactly what happened. Michigan makes the hire of Utah's former head coach, Kyle Whittingham. And I guess this came as a shock for everybody, including us two, because of the fact that he had previously retired. He was seemingly done with college football. But then Michigan brings him up from the ether out of nowhere. And, well, out of what they had, out of the options that were there, realistically, that was one of the best they could have possibly gotten. So, in my opinion, that was, without a doubt in my mind, one of the best things that very well could have happened for them in this coaching cycle. So, yeah, I don't know what your thoughts on it, Red are, but I can only assume that it's something along the lines of Michigan sucks, Michigan gargle on my taint, whatever. Tell us what you think.
Yes, Michigan, gargle on my fucking taint. Please, I dare you. That wasn't a request. We're going to fill this fucking year full of the outtakes and bloopers for Zep, by the way, with all the bullshit we say all the time, dude.
Yeah, I saw that video. First off, I did want to say, I saw the video. Yeah, shout out to Zep, man. What a fantastically edited video that he made of our greatest outtakes from the FBS Report.
What a great guy.
Yeah, really. Shout out to you, buddy. Right. Carry on.
So, yes, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you as always. Look, let me just kind of cut to the chase here. I did not see this coming. I don't think anybody saw this coming. Everybody was kind of high on Kenny Dillingham until they couldn't be anymore because he signed his ass long term to stay with the Devils of Arizona State. So at that point, I genuinely was like, okay, it's probably going to be Brian Kelly because I don't have another fucking clue what assistant coach, head coach, anybody could be coming unless they're waiting for somebody out of the NFL to pop out. Just some cast off from the Giants or some shit to try to save them for a year or two. Well, yeah, Kyle Whittingham. I don't know if this was a good move. I think this was a desperation heave because the Sharon Moore bullshit completely fucked them. Like, I mean, genuinely in the ass, full on fucked them. And it's not Michigan's fault at all. Like sometimes we'll say, you know, you got your LSUs and your Floridas that completely do this in on themselves and they completely fuck themselves over. This isn't Michigan's fault. And I'm a Buckeye saying that. I don't think anybody can. They did the best they could. I think, honestly, they would have been better off keeping Biff Poggi as the interim for a year and just riding it out. But I guess the players decided that, you know, maybe they asked the players or something and they said, well, Biff's okay. And then they're like, okay, we got to get an actual coach. And, you know, that was that. I will say Davis Warren, their original quarterback for the season before it was Bryce Underwood after Warren got hurt, is fucking off. I saw that in the transfer portal news today. Maybe it's going to be a sign of things to come for them Wolverines. Squid, do you think Whittingham has a shot of being successful? He's coming into a whole new world. He went from Pac-12 to Big 12, and now he's going into the fucking big kahuna, the Big 10, running a completely different style of offense at Utah for the better part of, God, how long? A decade or more?
Around that range, yeah.
Yeah, like how does this translate over? You literally you're going into a whole new reality. One of the most prestigious, I'll admit it, one of the most prestigious jobs in college football is being the head coach for the Michigan Wolverines. They have pretty much everything you could ask for as a head coach, and they compete, and you're usually within the top 4 of the Big 10 every single year. So,
yeah.
And you're coming from Utah, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, Utah's a great school. They're still on the rise. They don't have everything. Do you think they kind of just choke on, you know, do you think I think gut check tells me they're going 6-6 next season because they have no idea what the fuck to do.
Yeah,
that's my gut.
One thing I wanted to ask: you said Bryce Underwood was out of Michigan?
No, Davis Warren.
Okay.
No, Davis Warren, the other quarterback.
Yeah. I had to make sure that was cleared up real fast.
Yeah. And Zap, I want to point him out real quick because he is one of he's one of the biggest Wolverines I know, saying that his biggest concern was last year at Utah, a flash in the pan before he's off to retirement home, or was last year a sign of something heading into a team who's probably out to destroy worlds due to anger. I genuinely don't think it's going to be the latter. I think this was just an emergency hire, and this is the best they could get. And they're just, you know, he's getting one more paycheck before he rides off in the sunset.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much. Kyle Whittingham, in terms of how he coaches, this is possibly one of the best things that could have happened for Michigan, at least short term. Because what Kyle Whittingham is known for doing is he's a lot like a Mike Gundy. He is a guy that at Utah, he wasn't getting a lot of talent, which is true. Everybody knows Utah, in terms of the talent that they had, was way lesser than the upper echelon programs. He was getting less than like what USC and some of these other higher echelon Pac-12 programs had.
Oregon, Washington.
Right. But what he did have was a really good staff around him and a really good coaching mind overall. He was able to make something out of basically nothing pretty much every single season. The exception, of course, being 23 that first year in the Big 12. Cam Rising got hurt early on in the season. Everything's just sort of collapsed from then on out. But this last year proved that Whittingham has been able to make things out of otherwise very little talent. What's going to be left out of this Michigan team going into the season is a current unknown. The bowl game still has yet to be played. We'll have to see how that pans out. But what we do know is that Kyle Whittingham has been able to make these things happen out of nowhere. So to me, I think short term, this is one of the best things that could have happened, because I think this is going to be one of the least talented Michigan teams that we'll see in a while, which is why I don't think they're going to fall off a cliff. Yes, they may go 7-5. Yes, they may go 8-4, but that's not falling off a cliff. And you got people out there saying that Michigan's going to fail to make a bowl game next year. That ain't going to happen. But he's a guy that because here's what we're waiting for. Of course, we're going to see how year one turns out. Nobody's going to care about that, but it's going to be the years afterwards that people are going to be focused on. How far can he get Michigan? Is there going to be an obvious ceiling under Whittingham? Because imagine what's going to happen when you actually give him the talent to win championships. You think he'll go and win championships? Very well possible. So a lot of unknowns at the current moment, but at the bare minimum, I think this is one of the best things that could have happened short term for Wolverines. I think they did a decent job with damage control.
I mean, for as well as you can in a situation as unique as this was, they did about as good as you could. But the one thing I will say, as you mentioned, the staff, I am curious to see if he's going to retain anybody in the Michigan staff currently, or if it's going to be a complete clean house once he takes over after their bowl game.
Yeah, we're still waiting on what's going to happen to Utah. That's still an unknown at this point.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if at least half of the staff at Utah comes to Michigan with them. That's kind of usually the MO for situations like this, because especially considering you were talking about, it took a great staff around him to take the players they had and elevate them into what they were. I would think that the coordinator and both coordinators and some primary assistants are all going to jump ship and get on the plane and leave Utah to go with him, along with a chunk of the players at Utah currently. And what that also means is there's going to be probably a little bit of an exodus for Michigan players after the bowl game. We're probably not going to see any moves or hear about any moves, obviously, until New Year's Day, maybe a little bit after that, due to obviously the Citrus Bowl. But I'm just going to say it's probably going to be the last hurrah for a lot of these guys in the Wolverine staff coming up this week before they go to parts unknown.
No doubt about that. Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, that's the news regarding Michigan. I'm sure we'll get more as this progresses. We'll have to wait and see who Utah's next head coach is going to be. As the coach,
I mean, Mike Gundy. You're talking about a Mike Gundy type. Mike Gundy is still looking for a job.
To be honest, I don't know. I don't think he'd do that bad there if you give him the coaching experience. If you give him the pieces around him, maybe he can do something. Yeah. But that's yet to be yet to be seen at the current moment. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, time for some transfer portal news, because we have a lot of players that, of course, hit the portal. We're only going to go over some of the biggest names, which I guess I'll start out with the biggest one that happened today. Auburn star wide receiver Cam Coleman. They were frothing. Auburn fans are frothing out the mouth for this guy the moment he got out of high school. I mean, the moment he committed to them, I mean, the entire university and all of their fans collectively orgasmed. It was one of those guys who is going to be like, oh, this is our game changer. Well, turns out even with him, the offense wasn't going much anywhere. And now it's going absolutely nowhere other than to the dumpster fires of hell, because that's where it went, or the transfer portal. As Cam Coleman has officially hit the transfer portal, the news dropped today. And pretty much Auburn's entire offense goes along with him. Now, I'm sure Golish will be able to build it back up if you give him time, but this is a huge loss for Auburn. That I feel like it goes without saying, but it's going to be a huge gain for whoever can pick him up. Now, the front runner, according to what I've seen, is actually anywhere between like Alabama and Miami. So the answers on that are yet to be determined, but who knows? Who knows?
I could see Miami being the front runner for Cam, for him. Yeah, I mean that would be, I think, the biggest natural fit. You could make an argument that Tennessee could be looking for a new weapon or two. They might have the pockets to pay for such a talent.
Well, I think he's wide receiver 1 in most cases where he goes. Unless if he commits to a school like Ohio State where they've got Jeremiah Smith, he's going to be wide receiver 1 in most
Which
schools.
is also why I'm kind of thinking a school like Miami might be a little bit better of a landing spot for him, because then he can be – well, actually, no, it wouldn't be, because Malachi Tony's there. And Tony's the undisputed number 1. So in that case, it depends on what he wants. Does he want to go tandem with another – top wide receiver and Malachi Tony and create a fucking deadly dual threat? Or does he go somewhere where they're trying to restart all over, say Michigan, and become a top target there? I don't know of any like really great receivers Michigan has right now off the top of my head. No one that's a household name, that's for sure. But I mean, I couldn't stop laughing over here. Number one, because the way you described Auburn fans' joy with getting this guy originally, it just every time we say something,
he's one of the best receivers that we saw. Yeah. The moment I saw him in spring practice, that first year, I knew, I was like, "Oh, this guy's going to be really good," and he is. Yeah, really good.
He is damn good. I think no matter where he goes, he's going to elevate the program and guarantee them at least 2 or 3 more wins in a season, bar none. Maybe even help lead them into a conference title race, maybe a playoff. He's that much of a talent that really could take a team far. It doesn't surprise me that Golesh couldn't keep him, considering, new regime, new look, everything's going to be new. Plus Auburn hasn't really gotten their quarterback situation situated. And that's the only thing that's really held his ass back, is the fact that Auburn hasn't had a decent quarterback the entire time he's there. So he's probably looking at schools that have set quarterbacks at this point, or are going to have set quarterbacks, because boy wants to ball.
What else can you say?
It's going to be an arms race, but there's a bunch of other guys in the portal right now that if they pick up a certain quarterback, he may follow. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Who knows? I don't know. Lot of unknowns for sure. Although I did want to bring this up. So I saw this interview today of Jeremiah Smith. And one of the questions that they asked, you already know what I'm going to bring up. I think you already know. One of the questions they asked was, if Miami was a better overall team, would you have committed to them over Ohio State? And he was like, oh, absolutely. One of the main, basically, he didn't say this word for word. I'm sort of ad-libbing here, but he was like, one of the main reasons I committed to Ohio State was because they're a really good team, have consistently been a really good team, and Miami hasn't. Very fair. So somebody brought this up. What if Miami beats Ohio State and then for added measure takes Jeremiah Smith from them? Because Jeremiah Smith was Miami was basically destination number 1 for Jeremiah Smith, but then he realized they weren't any good, so he moved over to Ohio State. If Miami were to beat Ohio State in a head-to-head ball game, I don't know. I'm not trying to spread any propaganda here, but
yeah, it kind of feels like you're spreading some hurricane propaganda on my ass, trying to convince me otherwise. I think it would take a lot for Jeremiah Smith, more than just Ohio State losing to Miami in the Cotton Bowl, for him to want to go and leave, considering that no matter what, he's going to be the number 1 target next season for the Buckeyes. So, and also, if money is ever a problem, man, like the boosters and the donators are going to be able to pocket it, or they'll be able to pay whatever the hell he wants, give him whatever the hell he wants to keep him there. Ohio State's pockets are just that much deeper than the U right now. The U has deep pockets. I mean, they paid for fucking Carson Beck, for God's sake. But no, Ohio State's pockets are like 3 times as deep, judging by what they end up spending on their payroll this season and last season as well. So I think it's just a reporter trying to get a soundbite, frankly, about the whole thing. No shit. If Miami was overall a better team than Ohio State when he was getting recruited, no shit, he'd go to Miami. Nobody would be blinking twice about it. But they haven't been, so he didn't. And that's it. Simple.
At the end of the day, that's all there is to it.
Just a sound.
Can't say much more. Can't say much more than that. Really
can't. There so you don't get fined.
All right. Well, I will say this. There, of course, we've got a lot of losers to go over, both of which played games and those who haven't. One of the biggest losers who haven't played any games this week. And this is unfortunately, a big loser. And this is sort of the problem with teams, specifically G5 teams, that do really, really good overall. Like they finish with 10 or 11 wins in a season, and then all of their star players get poached. Exactly what happened to Marshall last year is exactly what's getting ready to happen to North Texas.
Yeah, I knew this
because they have been getting poached. Of course, they lost Drew Messmaker last week. Now they've lost their star running back, Caleb Hawkins. He's gone. Ashton Gray, their true freshman running back. He's gone. Who else? Wyatt Young, their standout wide receiver, also gone. Mackenzie McGill, another running back, their third running back on the team. He's gone. That's 3 running backs. And then Jaden Becks hits the portal. They lost 4 running backs in the time span of 3 days. I would literally cry myself to sleep if my team lost 4 dadgum running backs all literally within a 3-day time span. Holy hell, dude. And of course, the news doesn't end there. There's more. Kevion Huddleston, big time edge rusher for their team. He's gone. Starting safety Patrick Smith-Young. He's gone. They've lost so many of their key pieces to the transfer portal. On top of their head coach, their coaching staff around him, they've pretty much lost just about everything that made them them. It's the same exact thing that happened to Marshall. I don't know if it's going to have the ripple effect that did. Maybe they'll go to a bowl game next year, but man, they got absolutely poached these past few days.
I mean, can we be surprised at this point? Because it's kind of what happens to group of 5 teams now. A group of 5 team pops off, gets really good all of a sudden. What do you expect to happen in the following season? It's not like Denton has all the fucking resources in the world to keep even half of these players. And with the head coach leaving as well, like, what's the incentives to stay? It kind of has become what it is. Now, also, let's look at the facts here, okay? North Texas had the best season they have ever had. They won 12 games this year. If I had told you 3 years ago North Texas was going to win 12 games in a season within the next 3 years, you would have laughed at me silly. You would have, because nobody thought the Mean Green would be worth a shit. But they came out and they ran the world for a while there. Were they good enough to win the conference? No, but they made the conference championship, which is almost as good. Did they make the playoffs? No, but they did win the New Mexico Bowl against San Diego State, who was also at the top of the Mountain West for a while there. They were a damn good team. But the life of the group of 5 dictates that these teams get poached. And there is nothing right now stopping that from happening. You mean to tell me that I saw this on Reddit last night, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but basically someone's like, I really don't like the transfer system. We need to go back to, limiting people to 1 transfer a year. I think Joel Klatt said something like that, like limiting 1 transfer a year or 1 transfer per person, period. And I'm like, yeah, ask the NCAA how that went. It's not going to happen. It was thrown out in court. You're not going to go back to the way things were, because until they find a way to get these players on binding contracts that they cannot break under any circumstances except for emergencies, like a head coach being removed, you're not going to see a group of 5 teams being held together. And I'll let you answer this, and then I got another thought I want to get to.
All I was going to say was, or better yet, instead of doing all that, just take away their red shirt. If you hit the transfer portal, your red shirt goes along with you. And you do that, 75% of those go away. But the NCAA ain't doing that, because the NCAA has nerves like this.
The fuck are those?
That gum bag of gummy bears.
Why do you have a 5-gallon bag of gummy bears under your desk, bro?
Because somebody accidentally sent me Notre Dame's strength of schedule. So there you go. There you go. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, that's. I wish that could happen, but it
Good
didn't.
answer.
Yeah. By the way, we along with all those North Texas guys, there is some more players who hit the portal. Florida State's Javen Boggs. He's into the portal. He was he'll have 3 years of eligibility. Stood out as a really good freshman player. He's in the portal. This is a name that I think a lot of people need to keep their eyes on. Star running back from James Madison, Wayne Knight, hit the portal. This dude was an absolute beast at James Madison. He was what Genty Ball was to Boise State. He was basically the camel that carried the team on his back. And he's
a camel.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying. He's in the portal though, along with many other guys. By the way, Arctic Phoenix, thank you for the 2. North Texas needs a lot more Steve Weisers now.
Steve Weisers. Steve Weisers. A few more Budweisers. Let me go back to North Texas for just a second.
Right, go ahead.
It kind of goes to the whole thought of the Group of 5 right now. I saw somebody suggest this, and I agree with it. The Group of 5 needs to just treat their teams every single season as development teams. And the reason why is simple. You know that you cannot compete with the budgets of the Power 4. That's impossible. But if you embrace this, like literally just go, you know what? If this is what we're going to be, so be it. We're embracing it and say, hey, we can get you in a lot of eyes. We can get a lot of eyes on you if you come play for us next season. I'll get you playing time. I'll get you this. I'll get you that. You'll have a lot of other big programs looking at you. Spend 2 years with me, and I will make you into one of the most irresistible forces in the transfer portal. 2 years. That's all I ask. Let us develop you. That way, when you go to the NFL one day, you could say, hey, I got my start at North Texas. I got my, God damn it. I knew you were going to do that.
But you
get my point. You get my point. I think if they kind of treat themselves a little bit like a minor league system already, since that's kind of what they are, then that's something that could work. I don't want to admit that because I do love the underdog, but it's kind of what they are. And until something changes that levels the playing field, which we know how this works, it won't, then that's what they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you on that.
All right.
There's a bunch of other portal news. Next time, I think I'll keep a big time lapse of all the players that hit the portal.
Let me check X because I follow both Thamel and McMurphy.
Yeah, no. If we start listing every single one, we're gonna be here all night.
These
So
the
let's
big
just
ones. Yeah. All right. I don't think there's any. Yeah, Cam Coleman, Davis Warren, Drew Mestamaker.
Yeah, no, we touched on that one
last week. Wisconsin quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. for what it's worth also hit the portal. So once again, Wisconsin doesn't have a fucking quarterback. What else is new? The sky is blue, the grass is green, beer is alcoholic.
Yeah, I mentioned the big ones. Did I stutter? I think he touched the field for like 2 games and then got subbed out.
He got subbed out because he got hurt. He was at Maryland last year.
Maryland. Yeah, he was at Maryland. Maryland goes to Wisconsin, gets injured early on in the year, never comes back, and now he's back in the portal. He might be one of these guys that's around for 10 years and it just doesn't go away like Jeff Sims was. He's going to be the next Jeff Sims.
Who was that one Memphis quarterback that hit the portal again? What the hell was it? TJ Finley, right?
Oh yeah. Well, no, he's more than a Memphis quarterback. I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah, he's an everybody quarterback.
Yeah, he's on that world tour.
He's like herpes, man. He's just getting passed around team to team.
You've got the right memo. Yeah. No. You're right on the money with that one. Anyway,
not sorry.
Yeah, I didn't think you would be. All right, well, let's go over some of the bowl games that we had this past week because there were some great ones. there were some very, very fun bowl games that we had. And I guess we'll start out with the funnest of them all. Everybody wants to talk about this one. I went live for the first half of this game because I thought Georgia Tech was getting ready to sort of run away with it. And then guess what? They did what Georgia Tech always does and collapsed. Full on collapsed. BYU figured it out in the second half. They realized that pretty much the entirety of their offense was Haynes King. If you shut down Haynes King, if you take away his running ability, guess what? They're cooked. And that's exactly what it came to be. They didn't score a single point. They barely made it past midfield on most of their drives. They clutched up there on the final drive. Looked like they might have been able to win the game. Yeah. And then they threw an interception at the end. It's an unfortunate way to go out for Haynes King, who otherwise has been one of the guys to bring Georgia Tech out of the realms of death, known as the Jeff Collins era. But they've got ways to go. Good way to end out the season for BYU. They now finished 12-2. Really good record for the Cougars. They proved that they might have put up some good numbers in the playoffs. Unlike
you're gonna say it.
A specific loser that we all know and love.
We now will have a new meme on the show where Notre Dame, every time we talk about Notre Dame, you're just gonna hold up a big ass fucking 5-gallon bag of gummy bears that you got from some homeless guy off the street. And
I put out a troll post yesterday talking about something along the lines of something that Marcus Freeman said, because Marcus Freeman, he announced that he's staying.
Was that ever really in doubt? Like, genuinely?
I don't think it was, but it was like a rumor that needed to be addressed.
Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry, you're gonna go to the Giants and leave Notre Dame, where football only comes second to God himself, and have all the resources and the bitch ass schedule they always play. You don't even have to play USC next year. Why would you ever leave? Seriously, who the fuck?
I don't know. Anyway, he says 2026, run it back, go Irish, and I was like, run back what? Another bowlless season? Oh my goodness, it twisted the testicles of several Notre Dame nut riders. Boy, they were mad. They were mad. See, the problem with a lot of these people is that they take seriously some of the things that I say, and God, did it make them mad. Well, which only means that it's going to fuel me more. It's gonna make me talk about Notre Dame more, because that's how it works. If something makes you mad, it just makes me want to talk about it more. So, yeah. If you thought I was guzzling all over Notre Dame before, it's gonna get real bad real soon.
This is no longer the FBS report. This is the FBS fuck the Irish report, because literally every week, I think from now until week 0, we're going to be shitting on the Fighting Irish because of what the fuck they did. They robbed us of Mormons versus Catholics in the Pop-Tart Bowl. You fuckers. How could you do this to us? I mean, I honestly, though, great game. Like, the Pop-Tarts Bowl always comes through. Always delivers. But I will say this. Strawberry, you're a fucking coward. You are a fucking coward for running off the toaster like you did.
Somebody had to be Notre Dame. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God. You go down in that toaster and die like the Pop-Tart you are. Next year, they'll chain your ass in a fucking straitjacket and make you go down.
Rangav with the 20, thank you, good sir, says the only thing better than the Pop-Tart Bowl basically creating WWE scripts was Notre Dame fans coping and seething to all new degrees. Yeah, I hope there's not anybody in here that agrees with some of these Notre Dame fans that say, like why should I go to this bowl game? This is completely meaningless. It's not meaningless. We've been in here for this before, but it's not meaningless for all the seniors who they're playing their last game of football here. Not meaningless for them. Not meaningless for a lot of the players that are going to be sticking around there and then going on to do different things. Definitely not meaningless for them. If it was meaningless, nobody would have been playing.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of bowl games now are just big events where ESPN's putting on a show for the sponsors, and the lower group of 5 conferences are guaranteed to get their shitty 6-6 team in there, or God forbid a 5-7 App State in there.
Don't forget that the cities and the conferences get a check of that too. Which, in fairness to Notre Dame, they're too scared to join a conference. So,
which I don't get. The church always asks you for donations, so why wouldn't they take the free money?
Seems that way. Fans of Fruit Boy, appreciate the 5, says voice narrator challenge. Emulate fellow football, NFL, Barry McCockner's super monotone voice for a full stream. Challenge level impossible. I haven't been. You mean I haven't been doing it now? Oh well.
I don't even listen to Barry McCockner, so I would fail immediately.
Well, the dude, he sort of fell off the face of the earth like 3 years ago. I haven't seen him on my feed in a long, long time.
Yeah, like, was he ever actually like a serious guy, or was he just a shit poster?
Both. I remember. I mean, I saw his videos back in the day, and they were very entertaining. I haven't been watching as much of his content.
Was actually a good impression, Zep. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm just talking to my really chill voice. I got a cocktail in one hand and water in the other. Like, I don't, at a new mic, this mic, it's going to start giving me ideas on what I could do to impersonate people. Now that you're telling me,
I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out. It's going to be great.
It ain't going to pan out well. We're going to get canceled.
Never. Oh boy. All right. Well, before the things get too ridiculous, let's move on, shall we?
They haven't already?
Yeah, no, not really. Anyway, take a look at these guys. Look, LSU lost again, 7-6 to end out what's been a terrifically terrible season for LSU. And this time they went down to Houston. Now, you knew they were set up for disaster the moment I saw Houston was actually the favorite in this game. But to see them go down to them, I think that's really, really surprising. But then again, when you realize that their quarterback is Connor Walgreens, anything can happen. And boy, did he put up some real big stats today. He had almost 300 yards on himself, 4 touchdowns through the air. Overall, phenomenal day for him. Just pretty much torched the LSU secondary, which, in fairness, a lot of people have been torching the LSU secondary, so can't really say much about that. Michael Van Buren actually put up a pretty good fight. 3 touchdowns, pretty good QBR overall. Tried to go out there and do what he could, but it was never going to pan out for him. The defense did them absolutely no favors. And, well, even if they were mistake-free in terms of interceptions, they just got too dead on offense to really sort of make a comeback effort late in the game. And, well, shout out to Houston. They won the dadgum game.
LSU's offense has been dead since the second half of the A&M game, which, by the way, A&M wins again. Former A&M product Connor Wegman beat their ass in this game. Look, I remember this game more so because it's a shame that I have to bring this fucker up, because this was a really good game and a really fun, entertaining game. I didn't get a chance to watch it all. Why did Lane Kiffin feel like he had to show up for 10 minutes just to go to the announcer's booth and then quickly fuck off into his SUV and drive the hell home? Like, what was the point? Why would you even come? You're not even going to watch the team play. You're not going to support your boys that you just left another team for. Do you know anything about loyalty? Oh, wait, you don't, do you? Of course not.
Yeah, it's not his team, so why should he care? That's the way it's being rationalized, is that it's not his team yet, so why should he care?
It is his team. He's wearing the LSU colors. He's representing the jersey. He's getting paid playoff money by LSU for Ole Miss winning a playoff game. It's his team. He's just not allowed to coach it yet until the fuckers are like until now. He's allowed to coach them now. It's his team now. It has to be. There's no more games to play. So
he took his check, got it, then left. That's all there was to it.
Did ESPN pay him to show up or some shit? That's the only thing I could think of as to why he was even able to get him.
Had to. If it wasn't them, it was somebody there. Got to be some level of theatrics.
Yeah. It's going to be I'm still working on how to exactly describe my feelings about this goddamn snake, because I'm almost done with the script of the Lane Kiffin video, and you saw it earlier. The very rough draft of it. It's going to be deep.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, be careful. Be careful, because in due time, he might show up at your school one of these days.
Hey, listen, if he ever shows up at Ohio State, it's not going to be me he needs to be worried about. It's going to be 100,000 Buckeyes ready to run his ass out of Columbus.
Yeah, if he has success at LSU, which I think he is, they're not going to run him out of Columbus if Ohio State suddenly starts tanking.
We already know what happened to Urban Meyer, and we ain't going to suddenly start tanking unless Ryan Day just completely goes full stupid, which, I mean, I guess it's actually kind of possible. We'll see. I don't know. Don't put that jinx on me, Ricky Bobby.
The Fanta Fruit Boy at the 5, thank you, says, for the both of you, rays of sunshine, list 5 of the SEC schools of your choosing and then identify what alcohol drink with choice best represents them. Can I just put the entire conference in one single alcohol beverage?
Yeah, put them all in a barrel of moonshine straight in the woods.
Yeah, specifically the 120 proof, where the moment you have one sip of it, you're already seeing lights.
Yeah, give me just throw them into a vat of white lightning, and you'll be good there, because genuinely I feel like sometimes SEC fans have to drink to get through a football season, not because of like bad teams, although those certainly exist, Arkansas, Kentucky, but because the stress of it, it's the only way to take really the edge off. You can't really do it any other way legally, so just drink all the old smoky you can.
Yeah, no, really. For the sake of like Arkansas fans, I don't know how they live past the age of 65. Half of their games are heart attacks.
They go to the Ozarks once a year to recharge and refresh, and that buys them another like 6 months.
Right. Fair enough. Well, anyway, back to Houston. Congratulations on winning 10 games this year. No doubt a phenomenal year for the Cougars. Finally transitioned to the Big 12, and they're having all kinds of success in it. Can't say that for everybody, but can say that for them.
Houston really surprised me this year. I mean, what was the record at the end?
10-3.
They are still the worst 10-3 team this season by far, but like, they win 10-3. So I'll give them props.
Woo!
But they are still the worst 10-3 team I've ever seen.
Well, they had to fight to get there, so if nothing else, they got that going for them.
Milkman?
Oh, no, they fought. That's what I'm saying. They fought to get there. They never had a blowout in any capacity. They just, in some cases, kept punching themselves in the face on accident.
Yeah, I know. They were just looking for a fight, so they start fighting themselves.
Yeah. Oh, God, do we have to talk about this one? All right.
I haven't heard of
that. Welcome to what I would call the Failure Bowl. Because that's exactly what this was. We were all looking at this matchup in the offseason and thinking, oh, these two teams are going to be Goliaths when they hit the playoffs. Just wait until they face each other in the national championship, we all said. Well, they faced each other. Not the dadgum championship, though, unless you consider the Penn State Bowl to be just that. Because,
at least Yankee Stadium is kind of prestigious, right?
Prestigious enough for these two sad sacks of shit. All right. But
together, bro.
Yeah, no, really. But I will say, I am surprised that Clemson tanked this hard. Now, Penn State, obviously, both of these teams had terrible seasons overall. Penn State fires James Franklin, but Clemson had one thing Penn State didn't, which was a head coach that was still coaching, at least at the current moment. And, well, that didn't pan out to be the case it didn't pan out well for him because they ended up losing the game by 12. Penn State just sort of ran away with it at the end of the ball game. They took forever to get the offenses rolling. In fact, nobody actually did anything until the fourth quarter, where finally Ethan Grugmeyer loaded up, made some really good plays, sort of locked in at the end there. Quentin Martin, shout out to him. He was, despite the fact that Penn State's 2 starting running backs were out, he kind of came in and locked in, got 100 yards rushing, and took control of this game late. So really, well, firstly, we got to go ahead and say this real fast because this is very, very important.
And, but just, to win, you got to not lose. I mean, it's just simple as that.
Well, you lost, which if you know anything, to lose, you got to not win, and you did not win. So
You failed successfully.
I guess so. And they've done that many a times this season. Cade Klubnik just looked lost and missing as per the usual. They have no run game in any capacity. Clemson, I mean, this has been known throughout the entire season. There's one thing Clemson does worse than maintaining possession of the football, and that's running it. Because Clemson cannot run the football. Hasn't been able to all season long, and it turned out just like that. 43 total rushing yards. Just absolutely terrible. Just terrible.
Here's a question for you. Do you think that this is the end of the Dabo Swinney years for Clemson? Do you think he's going to be on the way out? Maybe not this offseason because it's way too late in the cycle for him to be getting fired right now. But do you think like within the next year or two they're going to cut his ass?
If next year, I'll tell you what, if next year, because most of the Clemson fans are done with him, he hasn't lost the administration yet because he won them 2 national championships.
Yeah.
That even with history, that doesn't go away after one bad year, which, let's be honest, this is a terrible, awful year for Clemson. But it was, other than the first year that he was there, the only terrible, bad year for Clemson. But if next year they don't see immediate results, if they see another season like this one, then I do think that this is the end for Dabo Swinney at Clemson, and they're going to tell him to get out.
Yeah. I would agree. I think everybody that's a Clemson fan right now needs to, I know this is Rich coming from a fucking Buckeye of all people, but everybody needs to pump the brakes a little bit on Dabo Swinney getting fired, because first bad season since 2010. When did he come to Clemson? First year?
I think it was like 09.
Yeah, it was like 2009, 2010 when he first started Clemson. First, actually,
long ass time ago.
I was a freshman in high school when he first started at Clemson. For God's sake, I'm an old fucker too, so he's been there a while. And for better or for worse, when a head coach has won a couple of national titles and has developed that much goodwill with the administration, it's insanely hard to get them to do wholesale change like that by firing a legendary head coach. Now, that said, that is not going to save him if this goes on a maximum 2 more years. I'd say next year he might get a pass as well. But if they don't show any improvement by 27, then they're going to be in full froth. I think this is a wake-up call for Dabo, and it shows that, this is like, okay, I need to adapt or die. Right. Clemson has not adapted to the new era of college football, and Dabo is hardly the first coach to fall victim to this. Mike Gundy would be a good example of somebody that couldn't adapt.
I don't know. I mean, I get it, but that kind of seems like an unfair comparison, because Mike Gundy never did anything close to what Dabo did with Clemson.
Not wrong.
I don't care who you put that on, whether it was Trevor Lawrence and Diddy Watson, whether it was that or anything else of that capacity is completely up to you. But what we do know is that 2 national championships in no matter where it's at, it takes a lot of time to get the shine off of that. But now here we are. Ever since 2020, Clemson has just been slowly but surely regressing. 23 last year was a good year for them, all things considered. They make the playoffs, came short in the first round, but they did make the playoffs. Then this year, and it seems to me that the wheels have almost completely fallen off. Now, to be fair, Dabo is trying to balance this out. The news came, of course, very recently on this. But Garrett Riley, offensive coordinator for Clemson since 2023. He was a former coordinator for TCU during the year of Max Duggan that brought them to the national championship. He goes to Clemson, and his offense slowly but again surely regresses. And this year was just another example of that. No run game at all in any capacity. Seemed to me that Garrett Riley couldn't form a run game without Phil Maffa. And once he disappeared, so did the run game along with it. And thus, well, you see the results. Garrett Riley has been fired. And, I don't know who they're going to bring in for their offensive coordinator, but what I do know is that there needs to be some big changes. Otherwise, we could be looking at the get out button being pressed sooner or later.
Yeah, I think what happened is they were still looking at an offense that they thought had a really good, more mobile quarterback, and Klubnik is not a really good mobile quarterback. They didn't change to adjust with the personnel they had. They used the personnel they had and tried to force them into the system they wanted to run. It's kind of like putting a square peg in a round hole. It's just not going to work. I don't think Klubnik is an awful quarterback. I think he just didn't have the right fit for the offense they were trying to run the last 2 years, quite frankly. So I think the offensive coordinator getting canned, that's obviously a good place to start for Clemson. I think they could definitely do better, but you got to hit the portal. You have got to start using that to your advantage. You have no choice. If you don't, and I'm not talking like sticking your toe in it. No, dive fully fucking in like everybody else and utilize it. If you want to turn it around and get back to the top of the ACC, because, hey, look the fuck out. Miami isn't going anywhere. They're going to be kings of the ACC next year, barring some cataclysmic collapse, which, I mean, it's
yeah. Back up on that. We're talking about a team that's never won the ACC.
I'm aware, but they still are the only ACC team to win a fucking game in the 12-team playoff right now, which is pathetic because there's been 3 teams total now in the 12-team playoff. So
it's the ACC.
I know
9 out of 10 times nobody's going to win from the ACC in the playoffs.
Nobody ever wins. Yeah. Ever since Florida State got snubbed after going 13-0, it's been like the conference of chumps.
Oh, absolutely. But to be fair, they're put up a hell of a performance in bowl season. They're actually doing better than the different leagues conference. Yeah, the different leagues narrative is taking a major hit because of bowl season.
Can I just say I'm getting so sick and tired of people being like, well, it wasn't I saw somebody like, oh, you're putting our 6th best SEC team against the 2nd best ACC team. You're putting our 9th best SEC team against their 5th best ACC. Shut the fuck up. You lost. Okay. You fucking lost.
Another example right here. Virginia. I know, blah, blah, blah. The really good ACC team, the ACC runner-up going up against an 8-5 Missouri. What'd you think was going to happen? Well, one thing I knew was going to happen was Missouri wasn't going to do a damn thing on offense if they couldn't get Hardy-Ball up and running, and that's exactly what they did. Now, this is entirely, I'm going to say this is entirely the fault of Eli Drinkwitz. And I don't say that often, but this is entirely the fault of him because you've got one of probably the best running back in the SEC by far, bar none, sitting in the backfield right there. You give him the ball 15 times. 15 times. Meanwhile, you're down to your 3rd string quarterback because every other one you had got hit with the injury bug. And you give him and you make him throw the ball over 20 times. You have Ahmad Hardy in the backfield, and you don't even bother to use him. Instead, you tried to do this 1-2 punch action with Jamal Roberts, and it never worked out for him. They couldn't get the ball running in any capacity. And, well, it wound up screwing him over because Virginia, even with how terrible their offense performed, which their offense didn't do good either. Chandler Morris had somewhat decent day, but nowhere near what he needed to do to get them ahead of the curve. And then they had a sort of a hard time running the football. But, I mean, Missouri had the intangibles to win this ball game. They just never put it together. And that's all there was to it. So you can only blame that on, again, Eli Drinkwitz. What kind of train is this? What kind of train is this? I've seen no business.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't watch this game, and I made an ass of myself on Dynasty streaming it. So I'm very relieved that that's the case here. But like, this is ugly, dude. Virginia has absolutely they're not performing as well as they could have going into the end of the year here. Like, absolutely not. And Mizzou without Bo Prabula is like, well, no Bo, no go, right? Like, there's no go. You got to have that other dynamic. A one-dimensional offense is the death of a lot of teams at this level, except for Alabama for some goddamn reason. But anyway, I expected to see Chandler Morris come out here and just rip ass on Mizzou. He really didn't in terms of points. Like, he did all right. 25 for 38. It's pretty good stats. 200 yards passing. That's not terrible. But Nah, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. I don't know. This was just like, this is the most Gator Bowl to ever Gator a bowl. Like, it was so mid. I just don't, I don't know. Somebody had to win, and it was the Cavaliers at the expense of making the SEC look like shit. So, hey, that's good, right?
Uh-huh. You know, I will say this, though, about the whole different leagues narrative. I mean, because I've seen people ragging on the SEC for this, and rightfully so. Then the SEC fans come out and say, "Oh, you're literally basing this off of a meaningless bowl game." They had no problem ragging on the ACC last year when they won only when they went 2 of 11 in bowl games, or like finished with a record of 2-11. They had no problem ragging on them for that. So they either matter or they don't. They don't matter sometimes when your team is winning. It doesn't work like that. They either completely matter or they don't matter at all. You don't get to choose some arbitrary number of bowl games that actually matter. Don't work like that. Sorry. I mean, sometimes I like to back up the SEC when I can because it's my conference.
Obviously.
But yeah, but when they suck, I'm going to tell you they suck. And
damn right. Just like
many,
Tennessee, right?
In many cases, yes, they indeed do suck.
Mm-hmm. And yet you're spending money to go watch them in person as a form of protest.
That's right. Wouldn't have it any other way. You wish you had it. You wish you had a team like mine that could let you down consistently.
Hey, I wish I had a team that was affordable to go watch in person.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. But your life must be boring though, because you never know what you always think your team is going to win, and most of the time they do. You got to mix in some losses there to make it real, to make it feel real special.
I don't think my team is going to win. I know my team is going to win.
Yeah. See what I mean? That's why it's got to be boring for you. Anyway, yeah, we'll get to that in just a minute. One last ball game to go over. The weekly, or I should say, the annual Schittsburg embarrassment in the postseason. They lose again to another G5 team, this time to East Carolina. Sort of in the exact same fashion as Toledo, minus the 6 overtimes. They just went ahead and went down to regulation, saved us a full hour of time. Heinz Schnell did not look good. And East Carolina they didn't even have their starting quarterback in this game. It was Chaston Ditta or whatever his name is, starting for them. And he did not, whatever it was, it did not matter because he despite him not really playing all that good, Pittsburgh just kept shooting themselves in the foot. And literally just kept shooting themselves in the foot as much as they possibly could.
Good
4
God.
fumbles, 4 daggone fumbles, God. 5 turnovers total. I mean, it's just a repeat of what happened last year with Toledo. It's just they keep shooting themselves in the foot constantly. So I don't know how much longer it's going to take before they eventually run out of patience with Pat Narduzzi, but these continuous embarrassments at some point need to stop, right?
Yeah, I mean, what in the actual I didn't even this was a game I completely skipped over on Saturday, so this is the first time I'm really getting a chance to look at it in depth because I was busy watching tires burn in New York. But the fact that Pitt gave up 5 fucking turnovers in this game blows my mind against East Carolina. I mean, give, Blackbeard and the boys some credit. They were in the American race for quite a while towards the end there somehow, some way. But I've never even heard of Chaston Ditta, and he arguably played better than Heinzschel, who was a sensation for a minute there in Pitt this season.
For a minute, yeah.
Yeah, for a minute. And then Pitt got ranked and everything fell apart because, as we all know, ranked Pitt immediately means they're losing the next game. They played like a ranked Pitt in this game. Like, oh, fuck, we're about to get ranked if we win this game. Quick. Everybody just start dropping the fucking ball like you were Bruce eating popcorn in the longest yard. Everybody just drop the fucking ball. Nobody hold on to the ball. It's pathetic.
Postseason Pitt.
Genuinely pathetic.
Postman Pitt. This is what they do in the postseason.
Yeah,
flat out collapse.
This is why Urinary Tree doesn't talk about this fucking team. I can see right now why it is. He's
Sport
always
ball,
bummed out.
Sport Ball Otaku with the 2. Love the name, by the way. Says promote East Carolina to the ACC.
I'll pump the brakes. Hold on
Different
now.
leagues. Yeah, no, East Carolina to the ACC. If they were considering expansion, that wouldn't be a bad place to start.
No,
They're right. They're right there. They're right there. What, dude? Do you just not favor expansion for the ACC?
No, I know. I know they're going to expand, but they could go with James Madison before they go with ECU.
Yeah, I said it's not a bad place to start. I didn't say it was the best.
The best would be James Madison because immediately
use your head. Listen to my word. I speak a word.
I am using my head.
Not all that great. Well, don't worry. You get to use your head in a minute. We'll talk about the playoff games. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and go into some of our future games, shall we? This is tomorrow's matchups. All right. Well, I guess we'll touch on it off the bat. Look where I'm going tomorrow. Yes, straight to hell. I'm going straight to the shadow realm. It's awful.
I hope you get a lot of hot chicken tomorrow, Squid, because it's going to be the only other thing that burns your ass besides the fucking Volunteers. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm spending all day down there. We're leaving here at 11, and I'm going to go get lunch somewhere. And then past that point, then it's just packing up and get ready for the Mustard Man to walk into Music City and hopefully come out with a win. Tennessee and in Illinois. Good old Josh Heupel and Bert Bielema squaring off. Now, if it were up to me, I would have these two in a cage fight throwing hands, just like how I wanted to last year with Shane Beamer. Remember when Brett Bielema rage baited the absolute shit out of rage baited Shane Beamer in the Rely Quest Bowl? Yeah, I don't think he'll get away with that at Josh Heupel. I think Josh Heupel will actually go through and throw hands with him. But anyway, that's not what we're here for, unfortunately. We're here for some football, and we're going to get that. So Tennessee, in terms of who's not playing in this game, most of our best players are not going to be participating. Chris Brazzell, for one. Deshaun Bishop, he's not going to be playing either. But Joey Aguilar is indeed playing. And we've seen the numbers that this guy put up in his 1 year at Tennessee. And I think he's going to do numbers here against this Illinois defensive front. We've seen them have trouble shutting down a lot of the air ball tactics. Hell, they could have shut down Wisconsin. Think about that for a second. You know, make fun of our losses all you want.
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
They could have shut down Wisconsin. Everybody, your grandma could shut down Wisconsin.
I said they couldn't.
Oh, they couldn't.
They couldn't. Hello? Is that head working in there? Ding, 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 ding. Holy hell, man. Come on. If you're going to interrupt me, at least be right about it.
Yeah, we'll be right back. And we're back. I'm sorry, Squiddy.
Yeah. All right. I'll remember that. Don't worry. Anyway, look, this isn't just for the game itself, but this is retribution for what happened in 2021, where Tennessee, under Hendon Hooker's tutelage, walked into this ball game and then got absolutely destroyed by ref ball in every single capacity. So it's sort of revenge for what happened in there. And hopefully they'll stick up to it. Hopefully they will arrive here locked in, prepared to take down this Illinois defensive backfield, which I think they do. I think Joey Aguilar has a great day in the backfield. After all, Braylon Staley is playing in this game. If he catches 5 more receptions, he will set a school record for the most receptions of any receiver in a single season. So hopefully the Vols lock in tomorrow. They take care of business and advance to 9-4, which is a permanent record, it seems, at the University of Tennessee. But hell, it's better than taking a loss here, I think, because if we got to go to this game regardless, and at the bare minimum, at least make sure that we come out with a win. if nothing else, it may at least make the trip feel like I'm winning something out of it. You know what I mean?
You said Brazel was not playing.
Correct.
Who's their next best wide receiver? I can't remember.
Probably Staley, Braylon Staley.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, Squid. I don't know. I mean, I love Joey Aguilar. You know, we've talked before how much I think you've had a great quarterback this year with Joey Aguilar. It's a shame he couldn't get you guys any further. I don't know. I think Altmaier is probably a little bit more set up with his offensive attack than Aguilar is, if Aguilar's got guys opting out like that. So I'm going to go for the mild upset and say Illinois takes the dub. I'm not just trying to troll you either. Genuinely, I'm not. I think just your volunteers been paid this week. I read online earlier today that, you know, traditionally the SEC team here gets to use the Vanderbilt facilities to train at prior to the Music Shitty Bowl. And Tennessee opted to not even do that and go to a smaller colleges or smaller area for their run up to the bowl. Like, they're still like fucking bent out of shape over that loss to Vandy. And that can go one of two ways. It could either be a great motivator, like what Ohio State lost to Michigan last year, never again, or it'll be a great detractor. And you're just going to be so pissed off and so frustrated about what could have been that you go and get embarrassed by a superior Orange team. Possibly superior. We'll see. But give me the Illini. It's going to be close. I'm going to say by 3.
Man, we were just all hoping for a good game, aren't we?
Honestly, I think that's all we ever hope for on this shit is a good bowl game.
If nothing else. What's going on, Hoodie Ways? Good to see you. How's it going, Red and Squid? How's the holidays treating y'all? And happy New Year's. Happy holidays are treating me great, and hopefully they'll treat me greater tomorrow when I've got to drive over to Nashville, and hopefully I don't arrive back with an ass kicking. We'll see. We'll find out in due time.
Holidays treated me pretty good. No complaints here whatsoever. Yeah, no, I mean, it was pretty chill. Honestly, my holidays were very chill, which I needed in the worst way.
Right. Yeah. Feel that one. All right. Next up, Alamo Bowl late at night. In case my Vols come up short, I'll get to laugh at USC some more and Lincoln Riley because they're going up against TCU and the Horned Frogs. So here's the thing about this one. No matter what happens, no matter who comes out a winner here, one thing I know for a fact is that this is going to be a shootout. That's what I think. These are two teams that have heavily relied on their offense throughout most of the season and most of their capacity. They got two really good offenses going for them. Now, I don't know exactly who's playing and who isn't. Now, what I do know is that Josh Hoover, I think, he's not. Yeah, he hit the portal.
Should be playing. Oh, he did hit. He hit the portal.
Yeah, no, Hoover's in the portal. So yeah, he's not.
But is he playing? Because Mestamaker hit the portal for North Texas, but he still played.
No, he's not playing. So
damn.
No.
Well, then TCU's fucked.
Well, coming up from the realm of nowhere, the senior known as Ken Seals is going to take control in this one. So Ken Seals. You don't know the Lord of former Vanderbilt football, Ken Seals?
No, because Vanderbilt was irrelevant until a certain Pavia by the name of Diego arrived. Please enlighten me.
Yeah, led them to a 20-point loss to ETSU. But he's got potential.
Let them fully into battle, only to get gunned down by the FCS.
No. He's still got weapons on his side though, so he's going to score some points. It's a Lincoln Riley defense after all, so he's going to score
swords
points.
Are not weapons.
Against USC, anything is a weapon. There's nothing guarding it. There's nothing.
Swords.
No, well, for offense, they sure do. They use the sword to the offense whenever it's time to get on defense. Oh, there goes the sword. Maybe I can use my ding-a-ling as a weapon. There you go. That's USC's defense for you. Either way, all trolling aside, I do think the Trojans win here. And I think the defense has a good enough day to where they take control, either it's in the second half or earlier on. I think USC wins pretty handily here.
How do I put this? If you're gonna use your dingling as a weapon, make sure it's big enough to back.
Dude, come on, let's go. Let's move on.
All right. Oh, hey, listen, you brought that up. I'm merely just going off of you. But give me USC. I think, in all seriousness, without Hooper and at quarterback for TCU, it's going to be a rough night for the Horned Frogs. Offensive production is probably going to be very slow to non-existent. So yeah, Lincoln Riley, he's got to shit talk Notre Dame and all that garbage, which, hey, we do too. I mean, look at the gummy bears, but it's not going to distract them from anything. It's going to be a Trojan night at the Alamo.
Yeah, I heard it from him. All right, next up. And we're going to skip over some of these because, well, we've got to talk about the best ones here, but I guess we'll go on to this. Well, everyone's favorite Reliant Quest Bowl. This team wanted a little bit more, but unfortunately they weren't going to get it. Vandy, the Vanderbilt Commodores, best season in program history without a doubt in my mind. They are 10-2 heading into this matchup against Iowa to potentially clinch an 11-win season. So we're going to see how it goes, but a lot of questions for Iowa. How good is their offense going to be against what is probably one of the most talented Vanderbilt defenses we ever seen for them in program history? And the other question is, what's Diego Pavia getting ready to do as he goes up against this Iowa defense? Credit to him, he's at least playing, despite how much of a sore loser he's been about the Heisman Trophy.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised he's playing.
Right. So I think Vanderbilt wins. While I do think Iowa puts up somewhat of a fight, they can never win against the SEC. They're part of the reason why the Big Ten has such a bad name against the SEC in the bowl game slates is because every time they go up against them, they can't find a way to win. Just that different leagues principle coming in through the clutch. So I think Vandy wins this one, clinches an 11-win season.
Being different leagues really has nothing to do with it here. Let's just look at the individual bullshit that we got going on here. Iowa's defense is the only thing about Iowa that's relevant in any shape or form. They got the best fucking quarterback in FCS in Mark Gronowski to come play for them this year. And look what he did. A whole lot of nothing. I mean, less than nothing. Fucking nada. It was the defense that has gotten Iowa to this point, making a, I guess, New Year's Eve bowl this year, bowl game. And, it genuinely kind of surprises me that they're even here to begin with. The defense is the only reason why. I don't think Diego Pavia is going to really have a problem carving through the defense, considering he played a lot tougher during the regular season in the SEC. I think this is going to kind of become a rout. I'm not going to bullshit. Not going to bullshit. I got Vandy winning this one 40-3. I'm not like Pavia is going to be fucking pissed. He's going to go the fuck. You can call me psycho all you want, dude, but this is the moment when the Iowa defense just falls and falters to the fucking might of this guy. Like the only person that could beat Diego Pavia is himself, I think. And you might not like him. I don't blame you. I don't like him either after what he fucking pulled.
I don't think anybody does, but that's beside the point.
There's no denying his talent. You don't have to like Johnny Football when he was at Texas A&M or in Cleveland, but you can't deny how good the fucker was. You can't deny how good Pavia. He made the Heisman finalists for a reason. It's not just a popularity contest. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah, doesn't matter. We both got Vandy winning big against the Fighting Hawks.
Ugly.
We'll see. All right, next up, everyone's favorite Citrus Bowl, because you can't spell citrus without you can't spell citrus without UT, right?
What the fuck was that, dude? Jesus,
yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, cannot spell Texas without UT, and even if it's not Tennessee in attendance, it's still a UT. Just horns down. So this is going to be an interesting one. Michigan and Texas, two teams that leaned heavily on their defense throughout the entirety of the season going against each other. We could be looking at another scenario where this is like the Pop-Tart Bowl, and it takes 3 quarters for either of these offenses to start moving forward in any capacity. A lot of questions to be answered, I think. I think from what we know, Bryce Underwood and Arch Manning are going to be playing in this one. So we're going to get to see, for the most part, 2 really strong defenses battle out against each other, and then 2 quarterbacks with minimal experiences against defenses like these sort of attempt to move the football down the field. Both of them have their fair experiences with teams like Ohio State and other really good defenses. Arch Manning seems to have gotten red hot over the course of these last few weeks. Take the Texas A&M game, for example, to finish out the regular season. A big win right there propelled Texas forward and overall made Arch Manning look like a way better quarterback. Underwood still got a lot of questions to be answered, but their defense has bailed them out of a lot of incompetence. To me, I think this is a matter of who's the hottest team that we've seen out of these two, and without a doubt in my mind, it's Texas. I don't think they're necessarily going to run away with this thing, but I do think they're going to cover. I think this would be a game where they win by around 10-17, somewhere around that range.
Fuck both of these teams, first off. That goes without saying with me. I don't care for either one, especially the one in yellow. That said, I cannot deny that Arch Manning has finally kind of shown signs of life. It's like you really hit the nail on the head there, Squid, with what I was going to say. It took him about 5 or 6 games to get his feet under him, but once he did, he kind of started to make a lot of noise down the stretch and really played well. Wasn't enough, obviously, to get Texas to where they would rather be, which is the playoffs, one of the first ones out, but still, I mean, really good season overall, and I think it's going to continue. I don't think this is going to be a blowout necessarily. Michigan's got a lot of goddamn problems right now. Biff Pogge's going to obviously, take his talents that he had with the Charlotte 49ers and try to implement them in the fucking Citrus Bowl. As much as we think Biff is a meme-worthy coach, he's not going to be able to outmatch the prowess of Sark and Arch. And I just think this is going to be a fairly easy win for Texas, like maybe a 2-score victory for them. And I think this could be the start of a really big year for them next year if they play the portal in the development right. You're going to put the fucking thing up, aren't you? Hang on, I'll beat you to it. There we go. I said it. Development. Okay, we're moving on. We can't hear you.
Yeah, you said it right. You said it right. You said it right. Development. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. All right. Well, let's go ahead and roll into our playoff games. If we have time afterwards, we'll try and touch on the other bowl games.
All right. Well, give me 1 second. I gotta step out real quick. Okay.
Oh, but we're about to talk about your team. Oh, well.
Well, I'll be back in just a moment. I got to step out real fast.
Okay. Have a good time. In the meantime, I'll give my thoughts on this game right here. So, first playoff game of the quarterfinal slate. Miami, who, of course, went into Texas A&M and took down the Fighting Aggies, going up against Ohio State, which, of course, came off the loss to Indiana. So, it's all a matter to me of which one of these teams is the hotter team. And last year we saw a scenario where not just one or two, but every single team with a bye went down in the quarterfinals. Ohio State's coming into this game as a 9.5-point favorite. In my mind, they're the more talented team. They are. That's just the truth. I think everybody knows that. Miami is way more well-rounded than they otherwise were in previous years, which makes them a better team in this battle. We saw them in the Texas A&M game. The moment they shut down Marcel Reed, they just took control of that ball game. So to me, it looks to me like Ohio State is the more talented team. They got the but it's not going to make this a blow in any capacity. I think Miami is going to hold their own. But the problem is, how do they score against a defense this strong? Miami had a lot of trouble keeping Texas A&M's defensive line at bay. That's just the truth. We saw it in that playoff game. In fairness, A&M's got a great defensive line. How well are they going to be able to take down the likes of Ohio State's D-line with Caden Curry there. On top of that, how is Carson Beck going to go without throwing a pick to Caleb Downs in this game? I don't think that's going to happen. Just my thoughts on that. So I've got Ohio State winning here. As funny as it would be to go and take the Canes, they can play the 7th floor again. I think this is where their run comes to a screeching halt, or a brick wall, as you would call it, in the form of the Ohio State defense. Give me the Buckeyes to win here. It doesn't matter if they cover or not, but I think they will win.
I mean, I'm just gonna sound like a fucking homer here for a moment, but Ohio State has probably the best defense in the entire fucking country right now. I mean, nobody I think can disagree with me 100% on that because of just what they have done. The one thing, and I do mean the one thing that concerns me with the Buckeyes is that the only other team that was highly ranked this year, because Texas did not deserve to be ranked where they were to start the season, so I'm not even going to count that now. The only other team we played this year that was highly ranked was Indiana, and we lost. That concerns me that our offense was able to get shut down. Indiana has a really good defense, though. Miami doesn't have a great defense. I keep on hearing people tell me about how, well, they have great athletes. Like, yeah, shit, yeah, Miami definitely has great athletes. No one ever said they didn't. I mean, fuck, Malachi Toney is one of the most dynamic, unique football players in college football today. So I give them props. But at the same time, it's not just about having one really good player. It's about how does everybody else react around you? Can they come up to his level? And they just can't. Carson Beck especially has been absolutely putrid at times. And he really just did not know what to do against Texas A&M the other week. So, like, I'm happy Miami, gave my Texas A&M video some more life and guaranteed it would be fresh for at least another year. But yeah, this is definitely where the run ends for them. And I don't think it's going to necessarily be a close one. I'm not saying that to be meme-worthy either. I genuinely don't think it's going to be a close one. This is going to be one of those games where just Carson Beck is totally and completely shut down. Because if you shut down Carson Beck, Malachi Toney can't get involved. And literally the only thing that the Canes run on offense is Malachi Toney. So if you just find a way to contain Malachi Toney or contain Carson Beck, one of those two things, you don't have to do both, but that'll be enough to slow down the offense. And right there, that pretty much just wins the game for Ohio State. So give me that. I know Fletcher was a really good running back. I don't want to forget about him, but we have a really good run defense, so I'm not too concerned there either. Ohio State by a minimum 2 scores in the Cotton Bowl. And I will be covering that game live on my channel on Wednesday.
All right, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. But what I will say is if Ohio State's offensive line is a bad day and Ruben Bain's able to get to the quarterback several times, y'all might be in some big trouble.
The offensive line definitely concerned. I'm glad you brought that up because they definitely concern me a little bit. They did not play well against Indiana at all. Indiana got to saying way too many times, which ultimately is what cost us the game. We couldn't establish a ground game either, which again cost us the game. But it's not like Sayin needs a fuck ton of time either. You give him 2 seconds and we can just do a couple of quick slant routes, go routes, corners, bench routes. I mean, you got 2 of the best receivers in the country on our team. So I'm not terribly concerned, but you never know in these fucking things, right? I mean, we've been embarrassed.
You never know. That's why we play the games.
Indeed, sir. Indeed.
All right. Next up.
I was just going to say, like, it wouldn't be the first time we get embarrassed in the Cotton Bowl if we did lose. Hi, Mizzou. Fuck you.
Electric ones. Yeah. All right. Anyway, moving on to the next one here. This one over at noon in the new year in 2026. The Oregon Ducks face off against the Texas Tech Red Raiders in a game nobody has any idea what's going to happen. These are 2 really good teams, both in the way that they played and the which they performed, and the coaching staff, overall talent, you can't make a matchup much better than this one. Nobody has any idea who's going to win this game. It is going to be a very, very fun one to witness. A lot of weapons all around, pretty much all around the offense and the defense. Very well-rounded teams. Oregon's coming into this as a 2.5-point favorite. Now, what I will say in regards to both of these teams is that Oregon has one thing that Texas Tech doesn't have here, and that's experience. Because Oregon was here last year. They made it to the quarterfinals, got absolutely eviscerated by Ohio State, but that's beside the point. They did make it here. They have the experience necessary to know a little bit more about how big of a game this is for them. They have one loss. Both of these teams have one loss in the regular season. So they at least have that going for them. But again, Oregon has that experience that guided them in previous years. And I'm not just talking about the program or necessarily the team. I'm talking about the coach, Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning has been in this position multiple times. He's been in several of these big games and sort of a position that Texas Tech has severely lacked in because, well, Joey McGuire hasn't been in these positions. And he's built a phenomenal team. Rodriguez has been one of the best players that I've seen on the defense in a very long time. And I'm just talking about defense in general. He's one of the best defensive players that we have seen this season. So no doubt he's built an extremely talented team. But as previous years have taught us, you don't win based off of just talent. That you've got to have the right coaching, the right motivation, and a mix of all of those things together to create a team that's capable of winning the national championship. And Oregon, based on what I've seen this year as compared to last year, has the credentials, has the coaching to maybe get to that spot in the promised land. They've got a really, really good shot. Dante Moore is looking stronger with every single game, had a phenomenal performance against James Madison, so they're red hot coming into this one. Give me the Ducks. I've got Oregon taking down the Red Raiders.
I think that's a wise pick, and it's not just because of what you said. By the way, thank you to the King of War 541 with the 2. I think Oregon could win, but I'm not sure. I think a lot of us are thinking the same way right now because this is a very, very interesting matchup. But you know what this kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of when Oregon played Indiana earlier this year at Autzen, and I bring that up is because only two other teams have a comparable defense to Indiana, Ohio State and Texas Tech. And Texas Tech's defense is an absolute fucking madhouse. They're really goddamn good. They completely shut down BYU, not once, but twice. Second time, arguably worse than the first. The one thing that I keep going back to as well is Oregon's had the injury bug the entire year. Thankfully for them, Pete Thamel actually just dropped the injury rosters for the games, and Evan Stewart is going to be out. He's not even questionable. He's just out. He's not playing. But DeCorian Moore and Gary Bryant Jr. are completely off the injury report, so they're fully healthy now. That's huge for Oregon. Very huge. So what does that mean? It means that Tech's defense is going to be very busy trying to cover two really good wide receivers and trying to also stop the run at the same time. It's going to be their biggest test since all season, I think. And on the other end of the spectrum here, Oregon's got to do something that they couldn't do against Indiana. Not only establish the offense, but maintain it throughout the game. Because when they played Indiana and they're a really good defense, their offense completely disappeared in the second half because of second half adjustments. I am really torn. I don't know who's going to win. Both these teams are really solid top to bottom. I could have easily saw this as being a national championship game if this had worked out differently in the bracket. But for the sake of disagreement, I'm going to go with Texas Tech by a field goal. I don't think either of us can be wrong here. This could be the best game Saturday by a mile. And that's, or not Saturday, but like the best game on New Year's Day. Period.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. This is definitely one that I think is going to be the most entertaining by far.
But
Could be the most entertaining bowl game that we've seen this year. So
but
keep that in
by
mind.
above everything else, look to see how Tech's defense does against Oregon, and that's going to be the tail of the tape right there. That's
Oh,
how you're going to know
absolutely.
who's going to win.
Absolutely. All right, next up, this one at 4:00. So late in the evening, Rose Bowl, the all too famous Rose Bowl. The Indiana Hoosiers undefeated at 13-0 under the tutelage of Kirk Cignetti, going up against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, this is something we've never seen before. Literally never seen before. Alabama, Alabama, the most prestigious college football program in history, which is what they are. They've got the most championships, bada, 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 yada, yada, yada. You get the idea. They are a 7-point underdog to what is probably historically the worst Power 4 program in history, the Indiana Hoosiers. It's a crazy timeline we're living in, I can tell you that much. So anyway, this Indiana team is insanely good, really talented all around. Alabama is, in a lot of cases, certainly lucky to be in this position because based on how they played the previous few weeks, some people expected them not to even show up here, but they did. They went into Oklahoma and beat them to make it here into this game. So, a lot on the line for both of these squads. I think Kalen DeBoer has a lot to prove after getting here. And Kirk Cignetti wants to end out the season right. They're undefeated, the only team yet to take their loss. And, you keep thinking, oh, they're going to fall. Eventually, the collapse is coming. And then it never happens. Doesn't matter who they fight up with. Oregon on the road, beat them. Penn State, find a way to beat them. Ohio State, find a way to beat them as well off of a missed field goal. I mean, no matter what happens, Indiana has continuously found a way to win in any given circumstance. And they've won in basically every way imaginable that you can win a ball game. Alabama, and this is something I've definitely said about Alabama in the past, but they have a certain tendency of whenever their back is against the wall and they're coming into a matchup as either the underdog or in many cases the team that people are picking to lose, they come out guns a-blazing in the next game and then just bully the other team. So here's what I think. I think we're going to be looking at a very, very fun game here. I think Alabama's going to go toe for toe with Indiana in this game. I think it'll be not necessarily high scoring, but it won't be a defensive brawl. Both of these teams, I think, are going to find their way to the end zone on multiple occasions. It's going to come down to which team I think is going to shut down the opposing offense more, especially on the defensive front. And as we've seen with the Oklahoma matchup, Alabama has done just that in many, many cases. They did a great job shutting down Oklahoma's offensive line. I mean, they couldn't do anything. Mateer was just running for his life the entire ball game. I think Mendoza is going to be stuck on that position in many of his drives. And all that to say, the different leagues bullshit happens. Give me Alabama. I think the Crimson Tide knock down the Hoosiers and spoil what's been a Cinderella-level season for
them. This is going to be a tough game as well. You want to talk about like historic stuff here with the spread being favoring the Hoosiers by a touchdown. Let's talk about some actual history, though. This is Indiana's first Rose Bowl appearance since 1968 when they played USC's O.J. Simpson in a 14-3 loss. This is also the first time in the history of FBS Alabama and Indiana have played a football game against each other. It's never happened before in the history of ever. There's one factor for Indiana that concerns me coming into this game, and that is the defense, namely Stephen Daly, who got hurt celebrating the Big Ten championship victory. He, I think, what was it? He tore his ACL, and he is out for the remainder of the postseason. He was not a small part. He was their star defensive lineman. That is a huge loss for Indiana. And you factor that in. It's not as simple as next man up mentality when you think about like, oh, well, Daly being out is going to suck, but they could just bring in somebody else. No, Stephen Daly is really fucking hard to replace. That was their best, defensive lineman. So what does that mean? Well, it could mean that Alabama could run roughshod over their defense or find another way to get through their defense, and Indiana might not be as good as they were when they played Ohio State. However, one factor remains that could be a great equalizer for everybody involved: the weather. It's going to be raining and ugly at the Rose Bowl. I'm hearing forecasts that it's going to be like a monsoon. That is going to make a major difference. I don't know if it'll get monsoon levels, but it's going to rain a fuck ton in Southern California in the lead up to and during the game. So at that point, I look to who can run the ball better. By far, Indiana is the better team at running the ball. Alabama is very one-note, one-dimensional. Fernando Mendoza is a great comeback, but Hemby is a great Fernando Mendoza is a great quarterback, but Hemby is a great running back. And that offensive line up front can rip open holes the sizes of buses. Give me Indiana. If nothing else, give me Indiana because they can establish the ground game, while Alabama's passing could be grounded if the conditions are what they say they're going to be, which is wet and rainy, maybe a little bit windy. So give me the Hoosiers to move on.
All right. Well, there you have that. All right, moving on to the next one, and there's only one more left, and then that'll take us over to the semifinals. And different leagues brawl here, and we've already seen this one previously. This is a rematch that we're witnessing here in the All-State Sugar Bowl. The Ole Miss Rebels, 12-1, their only loss coming to the team that they're going to face again in a rematch, the Georgia Bulldogs, who, again, just like last year, defending SEC champions once again, defended their loss against Alabama by beating them in the SEC championship, coming into this game as a 6.5-point favorite. Most people's eyes, they are the favorite to win this game and potentially make it all the way to the big dance and to the big dance and win it, to the chagrin of everyone. So going over the weapons that they got, the materials that they've got going forward, we saw Ole Miss in their game against Tulane. All guns a-blazing, despite the loss of Lane Kiffin. It seems to have not affected them as much as some people thought it would. Trinidad Chambliss was still slinging the football really well. Kyron Lacey was drilling through their offensive line. Tulane couldn't do anything, just like they did the last time they faced them. When they went against Georgia in Athens, one thing was for certain: they did not have any trouble scoring. Ole Miss scored several times without any problems. Kyron Lacey did a great job running all over him. Trinidad Chambliss found open receivers. That wasn't the problem. The problem was Georgia did what Georgia does best and pulled out the bullshit Mickey Mouse card and clutched up at the end. Gunnar Stockton went off. Frazier went off. Everybody had their turn and just blasted the Ole Miss defense to the point that they were not able to maintain that lead in Athens. Now they have a chance to get revenge on Georgia because you know what they say. It's hard to beat a good team twice. Everybody's coming back for this one, and they've got a chip on their shoulder after Kiffin has left them. They want to prove that they can make it really, really far in the dance. So with all that being said, hold on a sec. I got to go. I'll be right back.
Leaving us on a cliffhanger.
All right.
He was about to absolutely prop up Georgia. That's why he was choking. He was sucking on that dick a little too hard. I'm sorry, what? I know who you're going to pick. It's going to be Georgia, isn't it?
Yeah, if I'm Ole Miss, I'm not even going to bother to show up. Honestly, Georgia's probably going to win this game by. I mean, they're favored by what 6.5. They're going to win by 65. Not even a competition here. The moment this game begins, it's going to be like this. The moment the ball is kicked off, you're just going to see an instant 65 next to Georgia's scoreboard. They're just going to. I mean, that's how quickly they're going to win this game. The entire team is just going to blow up instantly. All of the Ole Miss buses are going to blow up. They're just going to be stuck there in New Orleans well after the game is over. Which that doesn't go without saying anything. The game is already over. It was over the moment this game was announced. It was already over.
Wow.
Georgia's winning by a million, bajillion, trillion. Not even going to be a competition. What else can I say? Red. But yeah, I'm sure you agree with me.
I mean, kinda, but Jesus fucking Christ, who's coaching the Bulldogs? Kirby Smart or the fucking Joker? God damn. Blowing up the buses, teams exploding instantly. I didn't know Bane was making a special guest appearance in New Orleans. Okay. Look, let's just, I was gonna kind of be a little bit mysterious about who I was going to pick, and Kewan Lacey's playing hurt too. Kewan Lacey's been nursing an injury. He's probable on the depth chart report for this game. And it's like you said, we already saw this once before. There's a chance that Ole Miss can come in here and go absolutely ballistic for 3 quarters against Georgia and put up insane amount of points. But you know something? They're gonna run out of gas. They just don't have the fuel in the tank to go all 4 quarters, all 60 minutes with Georgia. They already proved that to us once this year. It's the only team they've lost to. So I don't think anything's going to change, especially a Georgia team that has rested the last couple of weeks after winning an SEC championship and also getting Colby Young back from injury too. That's another important note there for them. So yeah, Bulldogs, I don't think it's going to be that close in the end. They lost this game last year to Notre Dame, and they are going to make damn sure they don't lose in this building again. I don't think a lot of those players are still there and remember what happened. So, yeah, on the bright side, at least the Lane Kiffin playoff check stop going to LSU. I mean, there's that, right? Yay.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Ooh, fuck Lane Kiffin. Yeah.
Screw that game in general, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I'm going to watch it, but yeah, screw that game. It's going to be a train wreck.
No matter who wins, somebody's going to feel a lot of pain.
No matter who wins, somebody's going to lose, and it's America.
That's exactly right. All we can hope for is that the team who wins the Rose Bowl, is able to do so. Or is it the Cotton Bowl? It's a Cotton Bowl, actually. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, Cotton Bowl. Okay. So if you guys win, then you can have you can serve them up a good whooping. Swear.
Hey, you know what? I would love
if you go into the playoffs and then lose. If you lose to the dadgum Mouse, I'm going to rip you so hard when we get on this show 2 weeks from now. But that's again a lot of uncertainty. But yeah, go ahead.
You've been wanting to rip my ass over the Buckeyes for weeks now, and they just haven't given you the opportunity to do so.
What are you talking about? You all lost to Indiana. You gave them more shit than I did.
True.
You had to like the sky was falling. Oh my goodness, we lost to the #1 team in the nation. We're now only gonna get a first round bye in the playoffs. This world sucks. This is why Ohio State will never win anything ever. Fire Ryan Day. That was literally you. I
didn't say fire Ryan Day this time. Okay. I said that last year, but I didn't say fire Ryan Day this year, motherfucker. I held back, believe it or not. I held back. And it was just because of how we lost that game. But you're going to just get me going again on that. Do I need to bring up? Hey, look, listen, I have my conference title loss. At least I made a conference title game. What about you?
What's that got to do with anything? You saw how that panned out. Don't tell me you're going to be like all these other people where every time I lay into one of their teams, oh, yeah, what about Tennessee? Brother, Tennessee could be 0-12. You still miss the game-winning field goal against Indiana. I literally don't know. Or the game-tying field goal. It doesn't matter.
It's all I have, God damn it.
For now.
Literally, the Buckeyes are all I have. If it wasn't Ohio State, I would be absolutely miserable because who else do I got? The Bengals, the Reds, the fucking Blue Jackets. I'd be screwed.
Like a load of ass, that's what. But then again, I mean, look at me. All I've got past the Vols are the Saints.
You mean the Aints?
Yeah. Right. You make my point there. Well, with that being said, I think we're going to call it wraps here. There's not really much of a point going over any of the other games. I'm going to cover them in the chaos recap. So, Red, if you got any final things to say, we're going to call it wraps here on tonight's show.
Be on the lookout for my Dynasty live stream later on this week. I got obviously Ohio State versus Miami on Wednesday night. We're going to cover that live on my channel. But I am also going to be continuing my Dynasty with UMass that I just started on Saturday, in which absolutely nothing of any note happened during that stream of 4 hours. I wouldn't recommend you look at the last 15 minutes of that one. It was completely boring and totally not recapped in a fucking YouTube short that I made just because people wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. So that, and also I'm working on roasting Lane Kiffin over an open flame, still in the drafting stages of that, but hopefully gonna get the editing started this week once we get the fucking script finished.
All right,
Squid, the fuck you up to?
Well, roughly the same as what you've been up to. There's a yearly the year of Squidtard video getting ready to come out, getting ready to drop before the year is obviously over, so stay tuned for that. Along with that, I'm working on the Clown of the Season video for your Penn State Nittany Lions.
What do you mean, so my Penn State Nittany Lions?
I'm talking to the chat. I'm not talking to you.
Oh,
well, you a Penn State fan?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Not even close.
That's what I thought. But yes, we're working on that on top of many other projects, including a UMass video. And then now that the College Football Saturdays are over, not this Saturday, but the one afterwards, we are going to be restarting the Tardaria Dynasty.
Knew that was coming.
Oh yeah. We're going to be starting from where we left off in College Football 26. So stay tuned for that, along with many other things as well. The first Saturday that I do it is just going to be me revealing the rosters, going over things, and then from that point onward, we will actually be getting the ball rolling. But yeah, only a few more games of football left, everybody. Enjoy them while you can, because this time next week, all we're going to have left is the big time bowl games, the semifinals and the national championship. So enjoy the ball games while you can, because the moment they're gone for another 8 months. So, and
spring football is not that fulfilling, I hate to tell you. Neither is the Super Bowl.
Never has been. You don't even know if you're going to get a spring game. You might just get a weird glorified scrimmage, or if you're a USC fan, you get a big basket of nothing. Thanks for supporting the team all this long. Here's your bucket of nothing for you.
No.
Look at all the air in there.
If they actually have some sort of a spring scrimmage or spring game, I'm going to try to take my son to it. He got real football crazy this season, and I need to do something about that. Probably going to take him to a fucking UFL game while I'm at it too. Columbus got a football team in the UFL, so nice. Probably going to go to Old Crew, climb up the rusty ass bleachers, and watch him jump up and down as a fucking bunch of nobodies play some spring ball.
Hell yeah! Well, football. Any football is good football in my eyes. Any sport ball is good sport ball too. How's your basketball team doing?
Even if you're playing an NFL U37, where it's literally just semi-pros with brokers and day traders, that's good.
You dodged the question. You dodged the question.
What are you talking about?
How's your basketball team?
What basketball team?
Right. Your baseball team doing anything this year?
What baseball team? Until football season, dude. I swear to listen. I have been so dialed in and focused on college football this season. I literally jumped into the Urinary Entry Discord football chat yesterday, not to chat about college football, but I went to the NFL chat and I literally was like, hey guys, what did I miss? And I didn't realize that the Chiefs had missed the playoffs, that the Ravens and the Steelers were in a do or die, that the Broncos were are winning the AFC West, and somehow the Cowboys and Commanders were eliminated before Christmas.
Plus the Bears,
and also the Lions, and the Bears won the NFC North. I literally woke up from the NFL coma I was in to focus on college football, looked around and was like, this is not the game I love. What happened to the beautiful game? So
no, the Chiefs part. The Chiefs part.
The Chiefs part's fine.
With the exception of Mahomes, of course, getting an ACL tear. That does suck.
Yeah, that's not good. But the fact that they're not in is fine with me.
Does anybody know who won with the Titans and the Saints? My guess is nobody, but I would love to know.
Everybody loses. Speaking of everybody loses, Jesus fucking Christ, the Falcons are beating the shit out of the Rams right now. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. Yeah, because that's the only other football we're gonna have really to enjoy until the end of the Super Bowl is NFL, which
daggum, that's crazy that the Saints won though. Yeah, we'll be live for the Super Bowl when that eventually rolls around. This time I'll try and get the Get Out video not taken down by YouTube.
That would be wise. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I've already had my battles with the Mouse House. You don't need to have YouTube crawling up your ass either.
Granted, I deserved it, but I learned my lesson. Well, that's all there is to it.
Naughty.
I got the bonk on the head for that one. But you learn from your mistakes. That's all there is to it. And speaking of mistakes, I'm getting ready to head to Music City tomorrow, so I better go on and get ready for bed. Thank you for that, guys. Y'all take care. I hope you got to spend some quality time with your family and friends and whoever else you spent time with for Christmas. Thank you very much for spending your Monday night tuning in to the FBS Report. We'll see you guys next week, as always, to talk about all the bowl games and all the playoff games and everything else that happened over this next week. So stay tuned. Stay bundled up because it is dadgum chilly everywhere. Do make sure you do that. But, of course, do not forget, power to Tardaria and whatever else. Go Vols, too. Go Vols because we are playing tomorrow. So crossing my fingers and hoping for the best.
OHIO, Miami is full of hoes. Good night, everybody.
Screwing.